Hey everybody, this is Earl Harville from Harville Vocal Studio, back with you once again. This is part 4 of our series of the vocal warm-ups, the vocal training series. In our first installment, we dealt with the stretch part of the warm-up, doing things like lip trills, or an extended V sound, or the NG sound, one of my favorites. Sounds that help increase blood flow to the vocal folds, that help us set up a proper column of air, which is not a large amount of air. It's a small column of air that's got to be very consistent and very focused. In the second installment, we dealt with the pharyngeal sounds, the very bright, brassy, nay, 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 wah, meow. These sounds are great for getting very good vocal cord closure and helping us move easily between the vocal registers, between chest voice, middle voice, and head voice without a flip and without us taking up too much vocal weight. Third installment, we dealt with some of the lower larynx sounds where we either did extremely dopey goo 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 up to things that were a little more pouty and whiny. One 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 one. Those exercises help to keep the larynx more stable and keep the swallowing muscles from moving the larynx out of position. Today, I want to deal with some exercises that will cover a couple different areas. Those being vocal cord closure, tongue tension, and then we're going to work on going from resonant sounds like an NG or a hum into a vowel and see if we can keep a very consistent buzz in our sound. Okay, so first, let's do a little tongue work here. The tongue is super strong, one of the strongest muscle groups of the body. And when it starts to engage, it can really throw our vocal balance completely out. So what I want to do is show you an exercise that's called laga. Really simple. It's going to go something a little like this. Laga, 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 laga. And what happens is my tongue has to go up behind the front teeth to produce the L and then drop down flat for ah. And then to produce the G, the tongue goes up toward the back and drops for ah. So the tongue has to keep doing this. It's hard for it to lock into a position and cause a lot of tightness in this way. So we're going to simply do this little exercise on an arpeggio. Laga, 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 laga. 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 Real easy. Laga, 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 laga. Laga, 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 laga. And again, doing this exercise will help keep the tongue more limber so that it won't tighten up and stiffen and pull back into your throat. Now the next exercise will help us with monitoring tongue tension, but its principal job is to help induce very good vocal cord closure and using very little air. Kind of a stingy use of air, as Dr. Robert Bastian would talk about. If singers can learn how to get the proper vocal coordination in the chords without being bombarded with so much air, it's going to make the instrument so much more efficient. And then as more sound is added, as more weight is added to the voice should be able to withstand and keep that great coordination of good vocal cord closure without pressing. This is basically a creaky door sound. Sounds like a door whose hinge needs to be oiled because it's very rusty or something like that. You're going to take your thumbs and place them here under your chin. Here lies two muscles, the digastric and the hyoid muscles. Super, super strong, and they're part of the swallowing mechanism. If they start to tighten, they are going to put excess burden on your singing. So what we're going to do is make this very light creak. With your thumbs there, you're going to monitor and see if you have a lot of pushing downward from these two muscles. If you feel them pushing pretty heavily down against your thumbs, it means that those swallowing muscles are starting to engage. So as you do this, you want to feel very, very little movement at all. So then we're going to go ahead and add a little scale to it. We can do an octave arpeggio. the first time we do it, we're going to do it very staccato. Each note gets its own light little glottal stroke. So it's not connected, it's not legato. Very light. But it has a lot of, it has presence even though it's very light because the vocal cords are closing so well. Here's my first bridge. I am not going to put more weight on the voice than it needs. It's going to be very little air. I'm going to jump so I can go through my second bridge. So now I'm going in the head voice. Going up to my third bridge. I could also do it on the octave and half pattern, which is one that you definitely want to use with this one quite a bit. Guys, you should start somewhere around an A or B flat for the tenors and higher baritones. The basses can start down G's or F's. Ladies, you generally want to start somewhere around like a low F. So again, as you make sure you're doing that just gentle little squeaky sound, you're going to keep the thumbs here to monitor these muscles here at the base of the tongue to make sure they're not pressing down against your thumbs. Now once you get some facility with doing this, you're going to open your mouth up and actually make a little more, slightly more regular tone, and we're going to use the sound the same approach. Not a lot of air, so the chords are not going to smack together. They're going to have a nice closure, but because we're not using an overabundance of air, they're not going to be put in danger. Still having those thumbs there, monitoring for that those muscles at the base of the tongue. Cool. Love that exercise. I find those exercises very refreshing. If my voice feels tired, I go to those as some of the exercises I'll do to kind of refresh the voice. Now, next I want to deal with moving from a very resonant NG sound into a vowel sound. You want to see if you can have the same very comfortable, buzzy sound from that NG into a vowel. So we're going to go from NG to, let's say, ah. And then to an ah. Ah. So it's going to go like this. And you don't want to change anything about how you're producing your sound. You want the vowel sound to be as easily done as the NG sound. Here comes that first bridge. No flipping. You can also do it on a hum. Again, the goal is to go from a very resonant sound, something that sets up a lot of that nasal resonance that we need, and see if we can keep as much edge and bite into the sound when we go into an open vowel. This will keep us from pulling our larynx up and pushing chest too hard, but it also will help keep us from flipping into a falsetto sound that we don't want, a sound that really won't carry and won't get us what we need. So start using these exercises. Now we've been doing the weight lifting on the previous two exercises. Now we're really putting this stuff into action. We're actually moving toward normalizing the voice. So in next the next installment, what we're going to do is do a lot of exercises where we're going to drop what we call the crutches, the consonants, and some of the syllables we use that help us build coordination before we open to the vowel. Now we're going to see if we can go directly to vowel sounds, switch vowel sounds in the middle of a scale, and do a lot of sustaining without the crutches. Hard stuff. But if you've done these first 4, it's going to make that stuff a lot easier. Remember, coming soon will be the Vocal Athlete, my vocal training program that will be available on MP3 download. That is going to be available to you hopefully the end of August. And Skype lessons are now available with my studio, Harville Vocal Studio. So be on the lookout. Keep doing these exercises. You must practice daily. You are a vocal athlete, so you have to get those muscles in shape by daily, concentrated, smart, focused vocal practice. Record yourself in terms of your audio, but also watch yourself in the mirror so you can watch for any unwanted facial tensions, any widening of the vowels, any too much lifting of the chin, or too much tension in your upper body. You need that immediate feedback so when you're practicing and you don't have your teacher with you, you can kind of see what your issues are. You can start to work them out and get rid of those excess tensions. All right, go forth, have fun, keep singing. Thanks, y'all. Bye.